Buenas and Afade Biba Betnes. The Committee on Rules hereby convenes this meeting for the record. Today is Friday, November 22nd, and the time is now 12:12 Chamorro Standard Time. A first notice for this meeting was sent to all media outlets on Friday, November 15th, 2024, and was posted on the Government of Guam Public Notices portal that same day. A second notice was sent to all media outlets on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, and posted on the Gov Guam Public Notices portal that same day. Rules of engagement. The chair will recognize a member who raises their hand to make a motion. The chair will rule a member out of order if they have not been recognized by the chair. And the chair will also note that a second to a motion is not required. The Core Director, Ms. Cameron Nelson, will now call the roll of members.
Chairperson Senator Barnett. Vice Chairperson Senator Perez. Speaker Terlahi. Vice Speaker Munya Barnes. Senator Shelton. Senator Parkinson. Senator Kanata. Senator San Augustine. Senator San Nicolas. Senator Brown. Senator Duenas. Senator Fisher. Senator Taitigui. Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Ms. Nelson, the chair. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to move to excuse the.
I was just about to say, recognize Vice Speaker on a motion to excuse members not present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A motion to excuse members not present at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
Hearing none, motion passes. Colleagues, the court meeting minutes can be found in the Google Drive folder dated 11/22/24, labeled 3, approval of the 37 Guam Legislature core meeting minutes. The chair will recognize Vice Chair on a motion to approve the core meeting minutes for the October 10, 2024 meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
On the motion, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll now move to item number 4 on the core agenda, document tracking. I'll recognize Vice Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, who has prepared the document tracking. And again, colleagues, these documents are available in the Google Core meeting drive dated November 22nd, 2024. Vice Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the Legislative Secretary, who reports today as follows: appointments by the Governor. There are 129 appointments submitted by Governor Lulian Guerrero to date. There was one appointment confirmed during the March 3rd, 2023 session, one appointment confirmed during the March 27th, 2023, 4 appointments confirmed during the April 2023 session, 3 appointments confirmed during the May 2023 session, 7 appointments confirmed during the June 2023 session, 6 appointments confirmed during the July 2023 session, 12 appointments confirmed during the October 2023 session, 3 appointments confirmed during the November 2023 session, 8 appointments confirmed during the January 2024 session, 8 appointments confirmed during the February 2024 session, 8 appointments confirmed by the March 2024 session, 7 appointments confirmed by the April 2024 session, 2 appointments confirmed during the May 2024 session, 9 appointments confirmed during the June 2024 session, 7 appointments confirmed during the July 2024 session, 4 appointments confirmed during the August 2024 session, 10 appointments confirmed during the September 2024 session, for a total of 100 appointments confirmed. Of the remaining 29 appointments, Mr. Chair, there are pending confirmations, 4 withdrawals, and 12 have extended beyond the authorized 90-day deadline. As it relates to the zone changing, there are 2 zone change requests at this time, Mr. Chair. On the rules and regulations, there are 8 rules and regulations at this time. 3 bills have been introduced, and all 3 are now law. Bill 93-37 COR is Public Law 37-39. Bill 92-37 COR is now Public Law 37-38. And Bill 149-37 COR is now Public Law 37-41. 4 have lapsed by default. The new fee package for Guam Memorial Hospital Authority, with its deadline on June 11, 2023, the new fee package for The Guam Memorial Hospital Authority had its 90-day deadline as of August 30, 2023. New fees and existing fee packages for March 19, 2024 had its 90-day deadline of July 10, 2024, and the proposed rules and regulations pursuant to the administrative adjudication law had its 90-day deadline on July 10, 2024. There are 4 registered lobbyists at this time, Mr. Chair, and that will conclude the Legislative Secretary's report as follows.
Are we able to clarify if any rules and regs were submitted in October or November?
No, Madam Speaker, I don't have that listed at this time. The last one that I have on that has been on a timeline was July, but nothing to date. Mr. Chair, on a moment's recess, please, so we confirm. On a moment's recess, please.
Let's take a short recess. We're back. Cedros Masi, Vice Speaker. Speaker Terlai.
Yes, Mr. Chair, on that report, I just wanted to update on the reports that were routed before the meeting. One of the nominations for Maria Cruz for Ancestral Lands, that has been uploaded now, so it's on potential for our agenda. Also, the Ibanez on one of the reports says it's just pending, but he was actually confirmed September 21. And there is one nominee, Fruge, F-R-U-G-E, for GMH that has actually declined. It's not registered there, so we'll try to get some paperwork to make sure that that's recorded for sure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll now move on to the next item on the agenda, sub-item B, ratification of referrals, re-referrals. Colleagues, these documents can be found in the Google Drive folder labeled 04B, legislative item logs. Can I get a motion to ratify the referral of bill number 360-37 COR through 366-37 COR and 367-37 LS, 368-37 LS, and 370-37 COR through 372-37 COR?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. The chair will note there have been no resolutions referred since our October 10th, 2024 meeting. Can I get a motion to ratify the referral of appointments? Thank you. No objection. Motion carries. We'll now move to the items cleared for consideration of this session agenda. Committee reports for the following items have been duly filed with the Committee on Rules. And you can find that on the agenda, and then as well I handed out the list of bills and appointments that have been cleared by the Committee on Rules prior to the meeting. Speaker Terlahi, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to place on our session agenda bill number 356-37 COR as amended by the Committee on Health. This is an act to amend section 10407 of the Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners Administrative Rules and Regs relative to including licensed professional counselors as clinical supervisors and mandating licensed clinical psychologists or psychiatrists licensed in Guam to hold a license for a minimum of 3 years. What number is that? 356.
On the motion to add bill 356-37 COR to the session agenda, Senator Brown? Is this?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's on the agenda. It should be on 356. It was there since last month, so it's the last one on our agenda.
On the motion to add Bill 356-37 to the agenda, any objection? And hearing none, motion carries. Speaker Terlai.
Zidos Masi, Mr. Chair. I'd like to also move to place Bill number 363-37 COR as amended by the Committee on Land. This is an act to amend Section 63506C of Article 5, Chapter 63, Title 5, Guam Code annotated relative to memorandums of agreement under the Guam Forest System Plan and to adopt the Guam Forest System Plan attached hereto as Exhibit A in accordance with the provisions of Article 5, Chapter 63, Title 5, Guam Code annotated, the Guam Forestry Legacy Act. This plan is under a timeline if we don't, so that I'm trying to put it on the agenda so we can either approve or disapprove on it. 363.
So on the motion to place Bill 363-37 onto the agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Speaker.
For bills, that's all right.
Zidos Masi. Vice Speaker.
Is this for both appointments and bills or just bills first? Yes, I do, sir. I have bill number 295-37 COR as amended by the Committee on General Government Operations and Appropriations is introduced by myself, Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, Senator Chris Barnett, Senator Sabina Perez, Senator Christopher M. Dueñas, Senator Dwayne T.D. San Nicolas, Senator Joseph Augustine, Senator Roy A.B. Canata, Senator Amanda Shelton, which is an act to amend Section 8104A5A and Section 8104A5B to renumber Section 8104A5C and as Section 8104A5D and to add a new Section 8104A5C, all of Chapter 8, Title 5, Guam Code annotated relative to the modernizing public hearing notice requirements by authorizing the posting and public notices in locally licensed electronic newspapers and websites.
On the motion to place Bill 295-37 onto the session agenda, is there any objection?
Yeah, I object, Mr. Chair. I think we want to maximize the opportunity of transparency in how we announce to the public notices, particularly notices that the Guam legislature does, and I've been an advocate for open government, so I object to this, placing this on the agenda.
There's been an objection to placing Bill number 295-37 onto the agenda. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands.
Yeah, what happened? This was on.
Motion fails.
Oh my God.
Vice Speaker.
Mr. Chair, there's also another Bill 291-37. Notwithstanding, I will read out the provision in a second. Notwithstanding the House rules, I move to add this Bill 291 to the session agenda. Mr. Chair, this bill was publicly heard, and there was an author's report that was submitted to every single senator and the Committee on Rules. It was sponsored by myself, Senator Joseph Augustine, Senator Frank Blush Jr., Senator Dwayne Nicholas, Senator Chris Dueñas, Senator Roy A.B. Canata, Senator William A. Parkinson. It's an act to amend Section 52.10 of Chapter 52 of Title 9 Guam Code annotated and to add a new Section 52.70 to Chapter 52 of Title 9 Guam Code annotated relative to interfering with a judicial officer. It is a notwithstanding.
Yeah, and it's a notwithstanding motion because the Committee on Rules has not received a committee report on this bill.
Yet it has not received a committee report, but has received the author's report.
Yeah. Again, it hasn't received a committee report, just for your information. So, any objection on placing Bill 291-37 onto the agenda?
No objection to the content, but to be consistent, Mr. Chair, I mean, we have a number of bills. I don't even know in the timeline that we have for session with all the bills on the agenda that we're going to get to bills that have yet to be posted, but to remain consistent. I just want to make sure that these things are properly noticed before they get on the session agenda, so I have to object.
Thank you, Senator Brown. There's been an objection. All those in favor of placing Bill 291-37 onto the agenda, please signify by raising your hands. Motion fails. Vice Speaker?
I only have appointments, sir. I'll wait
Okay.
my turn. I yield back.
Senator Parkinson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place on the session agenda Bill number 263-37 COR as amended by the Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture, introduced by William A. Parkinson, an act to transfer lot number 3458-R1 in the municipality of Chalon-Pago Ordet, Guam, from the Department of Parks and Recreation to the Office of the Chalon-Pago Ordet Mayor. Status on Bill 263-37 COR. Committee report has been filed and available on the website.
On the motion to place Bill 263-37 onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Parkinson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place on the session agenda Bill number 332-37, introduced by William A. Parkinson, an act to amend 8601I2, 8602AB and D, and 8603AB of Article 6, Chapter 8, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to virtual power plant program. Status on Bill 332-37. Committee report has been filed and available on the website.
On the motion to place Bill 332 onto the session agenda, any objection? Seeing and hearing none, motion carries. Senator Kanata?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I move to place Bill 337-37 Core as amended by the Committee on Land and act to authorize Imagahagan to exchange 1,149 square meters of property in Lot 2152-1-2, Maina, Municipality of Asan Maina, for the Government of Guam land indebted to provide for further legal development and necessary drainage, ditch, and ponding basin in the Municipality of Maina on session agenda, and the committee report was filed on November 19, 2024. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, I apologize. It's actually a new title, an act to authorize Imagahagan to condemn and purchase 1,149 square meters of private property lot 215-2-1-2, Maina, Municipality of Asan Maina, to provide for further legal development of a necessary drainage and ditch and ponding basin in the municipality of Maina. Introduced by myself, Roy A. B. Kanata, Dwayne T. D. Nicholas, and Joe S. Augustine, and committee report was filed on 11/19/24. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On the motion to place Bill 337-37 COR onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Nicholas?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got one, too. Bill number 368-37 LS, introduced by myself, an act to amend subsection 1, Chapter 5, Public Law 37-125, relative to allocating funds to the maintenance and the procurement of necessary equipment for the Department of Corrections, Adult Correction Facility, and the Hagatna Detention Facility. Thank you, sir.
On the motion to place Bill 368-37 COR onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place Bill 248-37 COR as amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, Taxation, Labor, Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning, sponsored by myself. It's an act to amend Section 5214B of Subarticle B of Article 3, Chapter 5, Title 5, Guam Code, annotated relative to sole source procurement of technology, hardware, software maintenance, support, and customization services onto the session agenda.
On the motion to place Bill 248-37 COR onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place Bill 365-37 COR as amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation, Labor, Procurement, Statistics, Research, and Planning, sponsored by myself. It's an act to add a new Chapter 17 to Part 2, Division 1, Title 18, Guam Code annotated relative to establishing the Guam Uniform Limited Cooperative Association Act onto the session agenda.
That's 365-37 to be placed on the session agenda. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
I move to place Bill 272-37 COR, sponsored by myself, Speaker Therese Terlahi, Senators Chris Barnett, Roy A. Bicanata, Jesse A. Lujan. It's an act to amend Section 5252 of Chapter 5, Title 5, Guam Code annotated relative to modernizing the retention and dissemination of the procurement record and promoting transparency and efficiency in government onto the session agenda.
On the motion to place Bill 272-37 COR onto the agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
I move to place Resolution 93-37. Oh, sure. Sure. Okay, I move to place Bill 276-37. Let's take a look at what that says. 276-37 LS, sponsored by Senator Chris Barnett, Senator Sabina Flores Perez, and Senator Joanne M. Brown. It's an act to add a new paragraph R to Section 3103 of Chapter 3, Title 17, Guam Code annotated relative to requiring all reports of the Superintendent of Education to the Guam Education Board be posted on the Guam Department of Education website on the session agenda.
It's on the regular agenda. On the motion to place Bill 276-37 LS onto the agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
I'd like to also move Bill 279-37 LS, sponsored by Senator Chris Barnett, Senators William A. Parkinson, Vice Speaker Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Senator Jesse A. Lujan, Senators Amanda L. Shelton, Christopher M. Duenas, Joe S. San Augustine, Speaker Therese M. Terlahi, Senators Dwayne T.D. Sinicolas, Joanne M. Brown, Frank Blas Jr., and Roy A. B. Kanata. It's an act to add a new Section 849.17 to Chapter 8, Title 1, Guam Code annotated relative to renaming the Agate Southern Precinct as the Jose T. Pito Terlahi Police Station onto the session agenda. It's Bill 279-37 LS.
On the motion to add Bill 279-37 LS to the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
I'd like to add Bill number 358-37 COR, sponsored by Senator Chris Barnett. It's an act to add a new Section 90.16.3 to Article 1, Chapter 90, Title 9, Guam Code annotated relative to salary, recruitment, and retention studies for law enforcement officers employed by the Guam Department of Corrections onto the session agenda. 358-37.
On the motion to add Bill 358-37 to the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries.
Okay. What resolutions come off? Okay.
Senator Duenas, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman. At this time, I move to pass Bill 250-37 LS, introduced by myself, Christopher M. Duenas, Chris Barnett, Frank Blas Jr., Thomas J. Fisher, Dwayne T.D. Sinicolas, and Jesse A. Lujan. It is an act relative to establishing and codifying a multi-agency unified law enforcement group known in this act as MAULIG for the purposes of suppressing the importation, distribution, and selling of narcotics and illicit drugs on Guam. This was amended in committee and to reflect all of the recommended amendments to this bill. So I move to place 250-37 LS at this time.
On the motion to place Bill 250-37 LS onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries.
And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Masi.
Senator Duenas. Speaker Terlahi?
Yeah, I don't know if he asked you, but Bill 351 is a, let me just read it here. This is a bill introduced by Frank Blas Jr. and Joanne Brown, as amended by the Committee on Justice. It's an act to amend Section 7.10 of 9, Guam Code Annotated, Chapter 7, relative to exemptions from criminal liability due to juvenile status, and to amend Sections 5106 of 19 GCA, Chapter 5, relative to the jurisdiction of the Superior Court of Guam.
On the motion to add Bill 351-37 COR to the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries.
Let me just give me 1 minute. Maybe. Are there any others? Yeah, okay.
Senator Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to place resolution number 472-37, introduced by Talo Taidewi, Joanne Brown, Frank Blas, Chris Barnett, Therese Terlahi, Jesse Lujan, Sabina Perez, Joe San Augustine, William Parkinson, Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes, Christopher Duenas, Dwayne San Nicolas, and Roy Kinata, relative to requesting the United States Department of Veterans Affairs to establish a regional office on Guam to service the needs of veterans on Guam, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, and the freely associated states.
On the motion to place resolution number 472-37 LS onto the session agenda, any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Senator Brown. Speaker Terlahi, you're recognized.
Yeah, because our term is ending, I'd like to move to place resolution number 579-37 core, introduced by Therese Terlahi, Frank Blas Jr., Telo Taitui, Chris Barnett, Sabina Flores Perez, Jesse Lujan, Joanne M. Brown, relative to censuring the disorderly, sexually explicit gesture committed by Senator William A. Parkinson during the October 2024 emergency legislative session.
Objection.
On the motion to place resolution 579-37 COR onto the session agenda, there's been a couple of objections. All those in favor of placing, please signify by raising your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion fails. Speaker?
Yeah, I'd like to move the appointment of Jolene M. Uggan, MD, to serve as a member of the Guam Board of Medical Examiners onto the session agenda. Jolene Uggan for the Guam Board of Medical Examiners.
Sudos Masi. On the motion to place the nomination of Jolene Uggan to the Guam Board of Medical Examiners, is there any objection? No objection. Motion carries.
Thank you. I'd also like to move the reappointment of Nathaniel B. Berg, MD, to serve as a member of the Guam Board of Medical Examiners onto the agenda.
On the appointment of Dr. Nathaniel Berg, any objection?
No objection.
Seeing none, motion carries.
I'd like to move the appointment of Teresa Demian Borja, DPM, FACFAS, to serve as a member of the Guam Memorial Hospital Board of Trustees. Onto the agenda.
On the
Teresa Demian Borja.
On the appointment of Teresa Damian Borja, any objection? Seeing none, motion carries.
I'd like to move the appointment of Suzanne D. Lobaton, DNP, MN, RN, COHN-S, to serve as a member of the Guam Memorial Hospital Board of Trustees.
On the appointment of Suzanne D. Lobaton, any objection? No objection, motion carries.
I'd like to, thank you. I'd also like to move the appointment of Maria G. Cruz to serve as a member of the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission for a term of 4 years.
On the appointment of Maria Cruz, any objection? Seeing none, motion carries. Vice Speaker?
What about the other two? Which, you don't have these? Those are, oh, that's ABC, okay. Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move onto the agenda the appointment of Carlos Madrid Alvarez, Pioneer PhD member for the Hagåtña Restoration and Redevelopment Authority Board of Commissioners.
On the appointment, is there any objection? Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also for the appointment of Maria Eugenia H. Leon Guerrero for a member of the Hagåtña Restoration and Redevelopment Authority Board of Commissioners.
On the appointment, any objection? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sijos Masi, Vice Speaker. Senator Kanata?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'd like to move the appointment of Mr. Shinsaku Taira, member of the Guam Economic Development Authority Board of Directors.
On the appointment, any objection? Seeing none, motion carries. Senator Perez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to place the nomination of Candy C. Yokohama to be a member of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board onto the session agenda.
On the appointment, any objection?
Is his documentation posted?
Senator Brown?
Okay, then I'm good with that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Perez?
I move to place the nomination of Lisa M. Cooper Nurse, EDD, member of the Guam Commission for Educator Certification, onto the session agenda.
Any objection? It's posted, yes. No objection? Motion carries.
Also like to place the nomination of Lisa A. Baza Cruz, EDD, member on the Guam Commission for Educator Certification.
On the motion, is there any objection? Hearing none, motion carries.
Okay.
Senator Perez?
Make the motion to adopt the agenda.
On the motion, is there any objection? No objection. Motion carries. We're now on extension remarks. The chair now opens the floor for any further discussion, if any. Senator Fisher?
Thank you very much, sir. I assume that this is probably the last Rules Committee that you will be chairing for this 37th Guam Legislature. I would just like to say that although the Rules Committee and the conduct of the Rules Committee has not always been smooth, I would like to congratulate you. I think that you have handled it professionally with equanimity and fairness at all times, and I thank you for that. Thank you.
Sijos Masi, Senator Fisher. On brief extension remarks, Speaker Terlahi.
Sijos Masi, I echo the sentiments of Senator Fisher. I'd also just like to report, because I'm not sure where else to report these things, but that the committee has worked hard to try to report bills out. I know we haven't achieved all of them, but we have tried our best. But there are some that have been routing for a while that have not received enough votes. But we have attempted to get those out of committee. Those include Bill 21, which is relative to the creation of provision to authorize judicial corporal punishment as an additional form of judicial sentence. Bill 49, which is an act to amend Title 9 Guam Code annotated. The title is not clear, but this bill is relative to fentanyl with minors, I believe. Bill 51, relative to allowing the construction of accessory dwelling units, ADU, in residential zones as substituted. Bill 78, which is relative to emergency contraception for survivors of rape. Bill 84, relative to requiring those convicted of vehicular homicide while impaired to support the surviving minor children of the victim. Bill 106, relative to provide a legislative submission for consideration by Guam voters at the next general election and to provide Guam voters the power to decide on the reproductive rights. Bill number 111, relative to expanding abortion services in Guam and to cite this act, the Health Protection Act of 2023. So, wait, one more. Bill 162, relative to updating the Women's Reproductive Health Act of 2012. Bill 180, relative to the transfer of the Inalahan Pool Park from the Department of Parks and Rec to the Office of the Mayor of Inalahan. Bill number 313, relative to the construction of a school on lot 10119-12-R2 Municipality of Dededo, and to authorize the Guam Housing Corp. and Guam Department of Education to enter into a memorandum of agreement for such. I believe that was for Simon Sanchez. So these bills have been routing. They just don't have enough votes to be reported out. But they did have public hearings, committee reports prepared, and all of it.
Sijos Masi, Madam Speaker. On extension remarks, is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Senator Duenas.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to associate the remarks with the remarks of Senator Fisher as well in terms of your conduct. Appreciate your service. Just for the public notice, Bill 51-37 will be one of the first bills introduced in the next legislature as we convene for the 38th Guam legislature. So those in the public who have been waiting for this benefit of accessory dwelling units can look forward to this being heard. I get many questions in my office and many people that I meet while I'm traversing through the public. This is of high public concern, and so people can look forward to that introduction in the first day of the 38th Guam legislature. Sijus Masi.
Sijos Masi. Senator Duenas, on extension remarks, is there anyone else? Senator San Nicolas, you're recognized.
You got a lot of good high marks, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. You know, I'd like to also echo the sentiments of my colleagues here. You did conduct yourself, you know, with the utmost professionalism. For CORE, yeah, for CORE. Just want to make that very clear. But you know, it was a very, you know, we had a lot of fun learning the process, and I'd like to thank you for that. When I make friends, I intend to keep them for a long time. So I wish you all well, everybody who made it successfully. So I wish you all well, and I'll be a member of the public coming to visit you every once in a while. And I'd like to thank the Speaker for mentioning those bills that didn't quite make it, but maybe we could give it a shot with a notwithstanding in motions. And I have some bills too that I would like to move. I'm going to try to move and see if I have enough votes. But again, I'd like to thank you and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, sir.
Sijos Masi, Senator San Nicolas, for your kind words. On extension remarks, Senator Parkinson.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the sentiments of my colleague. You did a very good job as the Committee on Rules Chair, and I'm very pleased with the work you did, how fair you were with everybody, and we're going to miss you when you're gone.
Well,
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you, Senator Parkinson. On extension remarks, Senator Brown.
Hopefully, Mr. Chair, I don't think you're going very far, so I don't think we have to miss you very much. It's been an interesting term, how we've started out and where we are today, and I certainly hope that the incoming legislature, including our new Republicans, are responsible with regards to the power that the people have now given to them, because it's one that has waited 18 years, and there are tremendously high expectations. And while I will be leaving this legislature with this term, I'll still be there, I'll still be watching. And I expect fairness. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. I want our elected officials to always be accountable in what they do. I'm disappointed the resolution the Speaker introduced with regards to my colleague, Senator Parkinson, did not pass. But you know, we sometimes need to get beyond the politics. How we conduct ourselves in the legislature and how we represent the interests of the people is something that we need to be very careful and mindful of what we do, where we do it, and how we represent our people. And also, colleagues, I've always, and it's not necessarily that I object to the legislation that's being proposed, but I do have an expectation with the incoming legislature that while I recognize it's a lot of work and time and effort, I've chaired committees for quite some time myself, we need to make sure that there's transparency in how we put legislation on the floor. I know that's one of the main contentions, Mr. Chair, I've had with you when we first started. But we need to be mindful that we are impacting the lives of our people. We are either adding or changing or modifying the laws of our people. And that's not something we should ever take so casually, because in most cases, they're busy with their lives, they're counting on us to do the right thing. But we see too how things don't happen the right way. We see how things try to get slipped through the process because special interest is always looming around us. We're the faces of the people, but there's always those behind us that are whispering in our ear that want us to facilitate their own self-interest agenda. And that should never be what overrides. So I wish everyone well. For my colleagues that will not continue, there is a whole life out there that we get to enjoy and pursue, and our time is our own. And to those of you that do, congratulations on this election. I do wish you well. I hope you do well in the upcoming legislature. The demands of our people are great. The need is great. Ultimately, we want to see improvement on the lives of our community. We want a better community. I think that's why we're all here and why we ran for office. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I know it's not always been an easy task, specifically because this was your first term in the Guam legislature. It's literally like jumping in the frying pan and the fire. But you've held yourself very well, and you've been able to properly facilitate the work that's needed to be done by your committee. And also, I'm sure we have the opportunity on the floor, but also with your Committee on Education, I think you've taken some tremendous strides forward in improving that process. And so I wish you well, and to all of you, my colleagues, thank you. It's interesting that this will be my last rules meeting, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to the new adventure that lies ahead. So thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Senator Brown, and on behalf of Grateful Island and her people, I want to thank all the members who are not going to be returning to the next legislature, and wish you well, and let us know how that free time goes, because it sounds pretty nice on some days. On extension remarks, is there anyone else who wishes to speak? If not, I just want to thank you all for the privilege and the honor of serving as the Committee on Rules chair. You're right, I came in with no experience, and I leaned very heavily on a very experienced and qualified staff, and so I really want to just thank our Committee on Rules staff who, politics never once came into the picture. You can ask them and they'll tell you, we get a bill, we refer it out as quick as we can. We didn't sit on a single bill in this term, and so I'm very grateful that the staff has been so generous and courteous in guiding me, and really, I mean, they did a lot of the heavy lifting, and to show up here for each and every rules meeting, my intention was really just to be, kind of an administer the bills and get them on the agenda and save all the politics and all the talk and all the contraying for across the hall in the session hall. So again, colleagues, thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you for your service on this committee. It's been quite a ride here in the 37th Guam legislature. And if there's nothing further, does the chair hear a motion to adjourn? Senator Stiglitz. Okay, on the motion to adjourn, if there's hearing no objection, so moved. To the viewing public, Siduos Masi for watching. Guahu si Senador Chris Malfunction Barnett. Está. Adios.